I had a plant-based dinner all planned out, and yet I ordered takeout instead. Hi, I'm Lori with Kitchen Confessions, and what I'd like to do is talk about the stories that hold us back from achieving the results that we're truly looking for. And in the plant-based world, it is increasingly more and more difficult to stick with that plant-based diet, to stick with healthy foods when there are so many other things vying for your attention. And in this episode, what I want to talk about is motivation. We all seem to get a little lost in the concept of it takes motivation in order to move us forward. Now, I used to think that that's where success came from in a plant-based diet, that in order to be quote unquote successful with this, I needed to do everything perfectly. I needed to feel like cooking at the end of the day. I need to, always have things organized and ready to go. And that's not quite true. As we all know, real life sets in a heartbeat, right? You have the best intentions walking into your home every night, and something happens that sets you off. And suddenly you're just not motivated to move forward. You have dinner planned, and yet the phone is just so much easier, right? Cooking is not something that you ever have to feel like I'm in a bad place. Everything is so wrong right now because I just don't feel like cooking. That happens to all of us at all times, whether you love cooking or not, whether you're a chef or whether you're a home-based cook. We all get into that daily activity, especially by the time dinner rolls around, where we've tried so many things throughout the day. We have so many things that fill our calendar, and we're just not quite sure how to put it all together. And when you get home, you're tired, you're cranky, maybe you're hungry, maybe the family's hungry. You have all these different things vying for your attention. And all of a sudden you're supposed to start cooking, especially when it might be new to you. Maybe you are not someone who has taken up cooking before. Maybe you've issued other stories such as, I don't enjoy cooking, or it's just not me. What I make doesn't taste good once I cook it. There's so many different stories that all kind of collide in this particular confession because we all face it. It's something we have to do every single day of our lives, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, right? We always, at the end of the day, have to come up with quote unquote dinner plans. And when you start thinking that there must be something wrong with me, why am I not feeling this? Maybe even if it goes day in and day out, what you need to do is you need to shift your thinking with this, because it's a shift that is going to help you achieve what you're looking for, which is planning plant-based dinners, correct? What I like to recommend with this is with the shift it's a shift in mindset to create something that you love. Create the ritual in the process to fall in love with the idea of cooking, and so that it becomes fun as opposed to a chore. So what I like to do is I look at it as my relaxed time. I look at this as my self-care time, because cooking anymore is just so much fun for me. And I realize that can be a stretch if you're not in that place yet. But it quite honestly is a daily practice. The more you get into it, the more you do start enjoying the process, the more you find relief in that process, the more that you will start to recognize the benefits of it. And again, this is not something that's going to happen overnight. But what I like to suggest is that you do little things to make the process that much better. Now, maybe your kitchen is gourmet. You have everything in sight that you could ever possibly want. But I would ask you, are you using all that? Because quite honestly, I have a very small kitchen here, and I'm perfectly happy with it, because the things that I do have here are things that I use and that I love. I've upgraded my knife set, my cutting boards. I use a Vitamix instead of just a traditional blender. All the things that make every little step of the way that much more enjoyable. And I would recommend that to you too, because when I come home and I know I'm not going to be, sawing on a vegetable with a very poor knife, it makes it that much more enjoyable. I can, if you watch cooking shows, I can kind of take the same strategy as I'm cutting onions and carrots and celery, because a very high quality knife and a quality cutting board, makes that process that much easier. So even investing in little things like that helps. Other things that you can do are very simple. Invite your spouse, your partner into the kitchen and cook together. I love to crack a brand new bottle of wine with my husband, and we talk about our days. We talk about plans for the weekend. Go over what we've heard about in the news, things like that. But we each share a glass of wine as we're cutting, as we're sauteing, as we're stirring. All the fun things that go into the process of winding down our day, and then we sit down to an incredible meal to boot. It can be something as simple as, if you have a podcast that you love, pop that in while you're cutting, while you're stirring, while you're sauteing. I do that if I'm cooking alone or if I'm baking something on the weekends. It's my time to catch up. It's a little bit of self-care because I love listening to podcasts, and if I can get one of my quick podcasts out of the way while I'm also having fun and creating some delicious food in the kitchen, all the better. The other thing that I would recommend is to go shopping for new dishes, and I'm not saying restock your cupboard. I literally buy them one at a time. I love beautiful dishes. It can even be the little plastic ones that are out now. I have some that I use out on our patio during the summer. And they're just gorgeous. They have flowers all over them, bright colors. I absolutely love them. And to pop a meal onto those plates, again, it brings me joy. So, and not only that, it also motivates me to take a little bit more time with the food that I'm creating, so that when I put it on the plate, the food looks beautiful too. Like beautiful little flowers. I found them in my store the other day in my produce section. And you can pop them on salads, and it just turns it, into a gorgeous presentation as well as a gorgeous meal. So there's little things like you can do with that all over the place. It's just taking what means the most to you and applying it to your kitchen process. So the next time that you have a plant-based dinner planned, that you have some strategies to make it that much more exciting. Now, maybe it's a process of simplifying certain things, having meals that you can call on. If you're really hungry and you want something in 20 minutes, I have a wonderful cookbook that all meals are 30 minutes or less. I know I can pull that down, even if I had something else planned, because I have these rituals, I have these strategies in place that every night at the end of the day, no matter how tired I am, I can pull one of them off the shelf, one of them, off the back burner, and say, tonight, this is my approach. And I forgive myself on the rare occasion anymore that I do pick up the phone. Just is not a part of who I am. I enjoy the process, even if I'm kind of feeling that I don't want to go there. Just stepping into the kitchen just kind of makes me breathe and relax. So again, this is a process that's not going to happen overnight. Just take one of these strategies, give it a try this week and see how it works, and add it to your toolbox so that you will continue to cook over time. See you next time.